Grimsby Town are currently sat third in the League 2 table, and with 3 wins from their last 4 matches. In today's video, we're going to break down how David Artell has transformed this team from last season, where they were really struggling and ended the season on a terrible run of form, to now where they are flying and thriving in League 2 and look set to make a return to League 1 football. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, can we try and hit 150 likes on today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Do you believe Grimsby Town will be promoted into League 1 this campaign? If you don't, who else do you think will pick them to it? Now, this is the League 2 table from last campaign. Obviously, Bradford City third, automatically promoted into League 1, which was obviously very nice, having ended the season absolutely awfully. But this video is about Grimsby Town, and they finished 9th last campaign. They obviously ended on 68 points, finishing just outside of the playoffs by 2 points. But you look at how they ended the campaign, just 3 points picked up from their last 5 matches. They had an awful end to the campaign, and last season their biggest downfall was they conceded far too many goals. They conceded the most amount of goals in the entire top 14, despite actually scoring 61, which was 5 more than Wimbledon, who went on to be promoted last campaign, which goes to show football is not just about one statistic, it is about a lot more than that. But this campaign, they have had a really good start to this season. Now, the quality of League 2 this year certainly isn't of the same standard as what it was last campaign, and I feel like over the last 5 or 6 years the standard has just been getting lower and lower and lower, and pretty much every other division it's been getting higher and higher and higher and higher, especially the National League, especially League 1, the 2 divisions around it. But obviously Grimsby third in the table at this moment in time with 7 wins, 3 draws and 3 defeats from their opening at 13 matches. They've scored 25 goals, which I can only assume is the second highest in the entire division, just behind MK Dons, who obviously spent a load of money in the summer. They've conceded 15 goals as well so far this campaign, which is amongst one of the lower end of the division, but certainly not, it's not that impressive. You know, it's more impressive that they've scored 25 rather than conceding 15, and obviously, like I mentioned, in their last 4 matches they have won 3 of those. And having a look at their summer transfer window, they brought in the likes of Christy Pym in goal, who obviously did very well for Mansfield in League 2. League 1 wasn't really cut out for that standard, but has come back down into this division and on the whole had a positive start. They brought in the likes of Jaden Sweeney from Leyton Orient, who will have developed a lot under Richie Wellens. Former Bantam Reece Staunton as well, very good young talent. Clark Adore joins on loan from Bradford. Jamie Walker joins on a permanent deal from Bradford City following the expiration of his contract, and he's had a really good start to life there. Maybe didn't quite play his best football last campaign for Bradford City consistently enough, but did also finish as our top assister last season as well. They've also brought in the likes of James Kirby, who's played a lot of football, and that's to go along with some of the players that were already there at the football club. The likes of Danny Rose, proven goal scorer at this level. Charles Vernham is one of the best players in this entire division if you can keep him fit, but the problems with Vernham have been, even going back to his time at Bradford City, was he could just never stay fit. They had a very good midfield last campaign. The likes of Kieran Green, Evan Corey, George McEachran, 3 of the best midfielders in this entire division. Cameron McJannet is a very good centre-half as well. So the foundations were already there from last campaign. They've built on it this season, and they are now absolutely flying. Let's take their most recent match against Gillingham, for example. Obviously, the Gills in the end ended the game with only 9 men on the pitch, 2 red cards picked up in this one, and the only goal of the game was scored from the penalty spot by Charles Vernham, a well-secured penalty. But again, the underlying numbers are looking very promising for Grimsby. 25 shots compared to Gillingham's 3 in the entire match. Gillingham didn't create a single open play opportunity. Now again, yes, Gillingham had 2 red cards, but their first red card didn't come until the 33rd minute. Look at the stats, 25 shots, and again, Grimsby are very balanced in the way that they attack. Yes, they like to get it out wide, which is obviously what you'd expect when you're playing against 10 and then 9 men, for example, but it is very balanced. They're not just focusing it down Vernham's side, or they're not just focusing it down Amaluza's side. That's the one, I nearly forgot his name there, but I just remembered it. They're not focusing it down just one side specifically. They can go either way, which is also very important. Shot direction, obviously you've got more of the goal to aim at. The angle is wider if you're shooting down the middle, and so have nearly half of your shots from 25 in the middle third is again very impressive. Even out on the wide positions, again, it is pretty balanced from that point of view. The shot zone, I think, could be a little bit more impressive. 44% of your shots being from outside the box isn't ideal, but again, you're playing against 10 and then 9 men. So obviously Gillingham are going to be sitting in a low block, allowing you to have the ball, and shooting from distance is what the opposition would want. But to still have 56% of your shots inside the 18-yard box is good. Only 4% though inside of the 6-yard box. Again, this one is a bit of an anomaly because of the red cards in the game. In terms of the action zone, as you would expect, the play was largely dominated into the Gillingham half because of the red cards, and even the player positions. Gillingham a little bit all over the place, if we're being completely honest. You couldn't really work out what that formation is, but if you look specifically at the Grimsby formation, you can clearly see that 17 and 6 are the centre-backs, 5 and 3 are the full-backs, and obviously you've got a midfield 5, I think it's meant to be, of 14 and 30 as your wingers, with 4, 20 and 7 as your central midfielders, and 9 as your striker. Obviously Charles Vernon likes to get very high, Jamie Walker trying to support him as well. You've got McEachran, who sits a bit deeper, dictating the play. Amaluza's coming a bit more narrow, Kieran Green's making them third man runs, and Jays Cabia is doing what Jays Cabia does as well. But really positive signs there for Grimsby. Let's have a look though at this match where they were defeated at home by Colchester United. Now I've watched the highlights of this game, and I think Grimsby are very unlucky with both of the goals that Colchester do score. Obviously the opener is an incredibly scrappy goal from a corner, and the second one is just one of those unfortunate goals where maybe on another day referee would have given a foul on the defender and potentially a head injury, and maybe Christy Pym doesn't come rushing out like that, and in the end it's a pretty easy finish for him. But I thought Grimsby worked their corner routine for their goal very well. And Colchester are obviously no mugs for this level. I know they've understandably not had the best start to life in League 2 this campaign, but they only just missed out on the playoffs last season as well. Looking at the stats then, they do slightly favour Colchester from a shots point of view, and again very equally from the open play and set piece sort of point of view for both of the side, which again, you know, set pieces are a big part, especially at League 2 level. Looking at the shots from this game then, again focusing specifically from Grimsby in where they were attacking, it was slightly more focused down the side of Charles Vernon, which again you would expect. Not really many chances being created through the middle. Looking at the shot direction, 57% of your shots coming down at the middle of the goal is again pretty positive. Only 14% down the right hand side. You could maybe be bouncing it up a little bit more down them wing sides. It seems like they were focusing it largely down at Vernon's side for this game, but this is what impressed me a little bit more. When it's 11 versus 11, it's not just constantly pop shots from distance. You know, they're trying to do some quick maths here. You're looking at 72% of the shots being inside the 6-yard box, or 71%, something like that, which again is very positive signs. No, hold on, we've got 72% inside the box, but 29% outside the box. Maths is not quite maths in here, is it? But the problem for this game is Jays Cabia was far too deep. You can see by the average positions that he's deeper than 3 players, 2 central midfielders, and obviously a winger as well. We know Vernon's going to get very high up the pitch, but your striker he's far too deep for this game. He needs to be getting further up the pitch, and obviously you've got the right midfielder and right back practically stuck on top of each other, and that's why largely a lot of the attacks didn't come down that side, because your right winger did not do enough. And again, you look at Colchester's structure, clearly can see a back four, but then it is again very crowded in this midfield. I don't think structure is something that you see quite a lot at this level. But we'll finally have a look at Grimsby's 2-0 win away at Salford City. Again, looking at the stats from this game, it does seem largely quite even in terms of the amount of shots that both of these sides were having. Looking at the attacks from Grimsby, much more balance in this game, and I think it is very important. It's all well and good giving it to Charles Vernon because he's a very good player, but you do need to have that balance of going down the other side as well. And Grimsby, I think when they do that and they have the ability to go down both sides, again, they win football matches and they do look very good. Looking at where they were creating a lot of their shots from the match, a lot of them coming down the middle or on the left-hand side, again, trying to use Charles Vernon as effectively as possible. Again, maths is not quite maths in here. 84% between the middle and the left side, and then 17% by the right-hand side. Doesn't quite add up there, does it? Looking at the shot zone then, again, Grimsby not really creating that much inside the 6-yard box. A lot of shots coming from outside of the area as well, but I guess with the way Vernon plays, he does like to cut in quite a lot and shoot. And I know I'm focusing specifically on Charles Vernon, but he is a very integral player here for Grimsby Town. And looking at the action zone, again, pretty balanced, you would say. Maybe Salford having a little bit more territory in terms of where they were on the field, but looking at player positions, Grimsby very structured for this game. Now, this looks like more of a 4-2-3-1 rather than a 4-1-4-1, which I think it could easily be, if we are being completely honest. But the back four is almost perfect in the way that they are structured. You've got 20 and 8 sitting, or it could be 20 sitting and then 8 and 4 are meant to be a little bit further up the pitch. But this to me would suggest a 4-2-3-1. You've got 18 again, a little bit closer to 5 than what 30 is to 3 for obviously the people who are not Grimsby fans. I'm going to talk about the numbers. And then again, Jays Cabia much higher, the highest player on the field. That needs to happen more. He needs to stay as high as possible. He doesn't need to be dropping deep and getting involved with the midfield. You've already got 3 central midfielders. You don't need another body in there, and that's probably why they struggled to create too many chances against Colchester. But against Salford, came away from this game with a 2-0 win, and their structure is brilliant. Look at Salford's. Again, Grimsby forced these teams to be absolutely all over the place. And there we have it then. There is my breakdown and analysis as to why I believe Grimsby Town will be promoted from League 2 at this campaign. If you have enjoyed watching today's video, don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, can we try and hit 150 likes on today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Do you believe Grimsby Town will be promoted this season, and do you think they can keep Charles Vernon fit, as well as obviously had an unbelievable start to this season? They've got a lot of our former players, I think maybe 5 or 6 now in total. So I wish Grimsby all the best for the campaign. Hope to not see you in League 1 next campaign, not because you'll be in there, because we'll hopefully be in the Championship. Thank you for watching.